with class, fantastic demeanor, and a wine glass filled to the brim. What you're going to hear is the finest in urban conservative talk. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the brand new Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network. All right. Well, good morning, and welcome to the Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, powered by SHR Media and syndicated throughout America and the world by our friends at High Plains Talk Radio. Thank you so much for being here. It has been a gas. And we're at Wednesday. It is Wednesday, the first day of February. Can you imagine? Can you get this? It's the first day of February. Didn't it just seem like Thanksgiving? Didn't it seem like we were still waiting on the election? And it's the first day of February 2017. I trust that you have gotten to the first day of February 2017 in as fine a fashion as I have. Yes, indeed. Now, we have had our challenges through November with Fight Back Media. We are still in full-fledged fundraising mode because there's things to do. And as you'll hear in this show today, there are things to do that only we, that's the deal, only we can get it done. Only you and I, who understand what we're up against, can get it done. We can't wait for Donald Trump. We can't wait for Trump money like people waited for Obama money. We can't wait for any of that because, first of all, I don't believe there's any coming. Just like there was no Obama money coming. Obviously, that relationship that we had with George Soros, that we never had really, is not going to provide us the funds for doing the things that we need to do in our community to make things better, to flesh out what I am calling today our C program, C-S-E-E program. So we could use your help. So if you'd like to help us and you want to know more about what we're doing at Fight Back Media, go to www.fightbackmedia.com. That's www.fightbackmedia.com. Peruse the website and click the donate button next to my picture. Or under my video, because I redid the website a couple days ago. Under my video, you can click the little donate button. And listen, don't think that because you don't have a lot that you don't that you can't drop, I don't know, $1,000 in the bucket, that you can't do anything. You know what? Can you drop a 10? Can you drop a $5 in there? Everything counts, because no matter what the left says, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division still work. Those are some rules. Those are some laws that still work, no matter what the left says. So when they tell you that it doesn't matter, they're wrong. They're lying. So everything helps. Today, we are going to talk about the future of urban America. We have talked a lot about what we're seeing out there, and yesterday we talked about that doesn't have anything to do with us. We have had all sorts of discussions about how what we're seeing affects us, but we haven't had the discussion yet about our way forward. Urban America's way forward. Because, you see, regardless of the snowflakes and regardless of mainstream media and the legacy media, regardless of the Democrats and Republicans, regardless of all that stuff, you, like me, are going to wake up every morning and go, what can I do today to make sure? And I'll tell you how I break it down. I have gotten very accustomed to living indoors. I have gotten very accustomed to living indoors, even so much to the point that, you know what? Guess what? I don't think that I want to camp. I've never camped. I've never gone camping. So, I mean, even to the point where I don't think I ever want to go camping, unless I can do it from the balcony of a 5-star hotel overlooking a preserve of beautiful trees and forestry with room service, Wi-Fi. Why? Because I have grown very accustomed to living indoors. So just like you wake up every morning, whether you wake up every morning living in the suburbs, whether you wake up every morning living in the city, in a brownstone, in the projects, wherever you woke up this morning living, you've grown accustomed to living indoors. You've grown accustomed, as I have grown accustomed, to going to your refrigerator and opening it up and being able to, and sometimes, and I understand, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult than others, but pulling food out of there or your pantry or your cupboards and being able to prepare yourself a meal. That's our goals. We have a lot of us have very simple goals. I think that we should expand those goals. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about expanding some of those goals for sure. But we need our basic needs. We need our basic needs met. Now, we just don't need our basic needs met. We want to be able to take our basic needs off the table as something that we are striving for, which is what disconnects us from a lot of the people that we see protesting. Do you have time to go down to the airport and protest any president's executive order? No, me either. So you have to look at the people who are doing this kind of stuff and you wonder, and it's okay to wonder. Think about this. It's okay to wonder. How do they have time to do that and stay there all day? How do they time in the middle of the week to do that and stay there all day? What do they do that allows them the ability, the time to do that? Well, if you're wondering that, what you're saying to yourself, you're answering your own question. Here's the deal: they don't have anything to do with you. They're not where you are. They don't have the same dreams and hopes and aspirations that you do. They don't. They just don't. So today we're going to talk about us. We're going to talk about us. We're going to talk about urban America. We're going to talk about urban America because I tell you, this is the foremost urban show on urban American politics in the country. Nobody is saying it like me. Nobody is talking about it like me. Nobody. Nobody is as reasonable as I am. Nobody has looked at it as long as I have. Nobody has prayed about it like I've prayed about it. So what you're going to hear today, I'm just going to tell you straight up, what you're going to hear today is going to rock your world. It's simply going to rock your world because no one's saying this. You know what? I get all the time. I get all the time from people. Why aren't other Republicans talking about it like you're talking about it, Willie? And I'm sort of bold and I tell them because they don't have the same revelation I do, which is why I started Fight Back Media. They don't have the same revelation. And it isn't that they don't have a good heart. It isn't that they're not good people. It isn't like they don't have good ideas, but they don't have the same revelation. And what you're going to get today is what's come to me as C. Opened my eyes to the three things that are most important for the future of urban America. The things that are most important as we see our way forward to our future. We're going to talk about all three. We are going to mention Donald Trump's Supreme Court pick a little bit later on in the program. So if you're listening now, what I need you to do is I need you to tell somebody. I need you to share this program. We need to share this program with 100 people a day. 100 people a day. All right, we got to get out of here. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, SHR Media, and the High Plains Talk Radio Network. We'll be back right after this. Innovation, inspiration, and imagination. Three important characteristics that are important in any business, but especially in real estate when you're looking for your forever home. And when that home is a new home, there are very, very many things that must go right. The financing must be on point. The furnishings must be on point. The location and neighborhood must be on point. And if you need someone to get that right the first time, you have to go to my friend Gary Knight at New Homes of Tampa Bay. That's New Homes of Tampa Bay. You can reach him on the web at www.newhomestpa.com. If you're looking for innovation through technology, inspiration and imagination through hard work, www.newhomestpa.com. There's no reason to wait for a special occasion to send flowers. No reason to wait until you miss a birthday or an anniversary or Valentine's Day to send flowers. All you have to do is get a hold of my friend Christine at Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. That's www.bloomingdays.com. And tell her that you want to send the very best, that you care enough to send the very best. One of FTD's top florists in all of the United States, always in the top 100 of flower shops in the United States. That's Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. Forget calling 1-800-something, www.bloomingdays.com. It's great to have partners, but it's even better when one of your partners is one of the finest urban conservatives in America. That's my friend Kevin Batts. Kevin Batts of Red River Chronicle TV. Red River Chronicle TV is taking the internet by storm. With fabulous production, amazing commentary, and incredible insight, Red River TV is the thing that we'll all be watching in 2017. They are the people, Kevin and his wife Janelle, are the voices that are going to make the difference in urban America in 2017. So get in on the ground floor. Go to www.redriverchronicle.com and subscribe to Red River TV today. You are listening to the Exceptional Conservative Network. For more information, go to www.theexceptionalconservative.com. All right. Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the Will Austin Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, powered by SHR Media and syndicated throughout the world by the great folks at High Plains Talk Radio. My name is welcome back to the Will Austin Show on the Exceptional Conservative Network, powered by SHR Media and syndicated by our great friends at High Plains Talk Radio. Excuse me, a little thing in my throat, but I'm gonna be good. Listen, we appreciate what you're doing, and we appreciate you being here this morning. What we're going to talk about really is the future of urban America. Good morning, Claudia. Claudia is in the chat room. If you are listening live, if you got here by Facebook or however you got here, there is a Spreaker chat room, and you are welcome to participate in the chat room. It always helps. And I'm going to tell you, I will notice you, but I kind of try to ignore it because what happens is I get distracted. I'm easily distracted. Squirrel. So, again, please, because your questions and your comments spur on future shows and future programs, and let me know if I'm on track or if I'm just being crazy. And sometimes I'm just being crazy. We're going to talk about a revelation that I had about the future of urban America and how we must see our way forward through this haze of discontent, through this haze of political wrangling. We got to see our way forward because that's the most important thing. What we have historically, unfortunately, in the past 80 years, gotten caught up in what I believe are all sorts of issues that don't have anything to do with us. This Women's March in Washington after the inauguration, women walking around with signs that say we're marching for women, we're marching for transgendered people, we're marching for gay people, we're marching for black and brown people. Although I really didn't see a whole bunch of black and brown people there, that they've sort of hijacked me. Like they have decided that they're going to represent me in these protests when frankly, they're not talking about any of my issues. They're mad at Donald Trump. Okay, I get that you're mad at Donald Trump because Donald Trump is somebody who has been profane and vulgar. Okay, gotcha. But don't bring me into your drama. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring me into your drama because you have not shown not one time, that you are talking about any of the things that have to do with me and my community. The thing that came to me was my C program, and C is an acronym for safety, economy, and education. That you have not come to me and talked about any of these things going on in my world. You have not come to me. You didn't decide to put on a pussy hat and say, we got to do something about the gun violence in Chicago. We've got to find a way to get into a place like Chicago, a place like Ferguson, a place like East St. Louis, a place like East L.A., and other places around the country, and say, you know what? Yes, these places have the most stringent gun control laws in the country. The President of the United States, Barack Obama, said that the country ought to follow the example of Illinois and Chicago in gun restrictions. All due respect, sir, no. Why? Because there's been 40-plus murders. There's been 40-plus murders, most of them using firearms in Chicago. I'm just saying. I ain't hating. I'm just saying that may not be the way to go. There's something else wrong there. There's something else wrong there. My friend Nadra Enzi in New Orleans has coined the phrase urban safetyist. Because what he knows is, and what you know is, that you cannot talk about any of the other issues without first talking about safety. Now, there are people who are going to tell you that urban area isn't safe because of poverty. Well, I'm pretty negative and I'm pretty cynical, but I'm not so cynical to believe that, you know what, because people are poor, they are more likely to jack you for your car. They are more likely to be murderers. Because they are poor, they are more likely to kill their relatives, because a lot of these crimes are crimes of people who are drunk and angry and shoot their cousins. I will not say because you are poor that you are at some lower standard of morality. That is the most cynical view. That is the most cynical viewpoint ever. Because you are poor, you are more likely to rob somebody. You are more likely to stab somebody. You are more likely to jack them for their tennis shoes because you are poor. And somehow, providing you with money is going to make you better morally. Now, what we know, especially the people of us who are Bible-believing Christians, what we know is that money is neutral. All money does is give you the opportunity to be whoever you really are. If you are a grateful, philanthropic person, money will give you the opportunity to do more of that. If you are a selfish, horrible dirtbag, money will give you the opportunity to do that on a larger, more destructive scale. That's our truth and that's our reality. So we have to go into these neighborhoods and enforce our laws. The laws are there to protect the innocent, to protect people, because not everybody is running around in Chicago and Ferguson and East St. Louis and the places I mentioned, robbing and stabbing people. They're not. It's a minority. It's a small minority, actually, that are causing most of the havoc. So that's why you can't tell me it's poverty. Because because they're robbing from poor people, and a lot of people that are poor, but most of them are not committing these crimes. The numbers just don't support it. We must first go into our communities and decide that we are going to make them safe for our children. We're going to make them safe for our wives and our mothers and our daughters and our sons. We're going to make them safe. And I'm not saying that we have to make them police states, but we've got to make them safe within ourselves. And that falls on us. That falls on people like Nadra Enzi, who has a group of people that just a small thing, walk women from their car, to their cars while they're leaving work at night, or they're leaving the restaurant that they work at, or the office building, or the club, or wherever, to make sure that they safely get to their vehicle and get on their way home. So when mom is working her second job, now the left likes to do this, so I'm going to do this too. So while mom is working her second job at the IHOP to support her family, while the kids are there, under the supervision of the 13-year-old, that she can get home safely. The police are not providing the service in these areas, so the community is providing these services. And it can be dangerous. And they're providing these services within the confines of the law, making these areas safer for everybody. And as long as in these areas we've got this no snitches mentality, you know who likes that mentality? The gangbanger, the ne'er-do-well, the criminal. And who suffers? Everybody else. We have got to see our way through to first of all, making our communities safer. Because you can't do the economic development to take care of the poverty issue until people can be assured that, or at least reasonably assured that when they open a business in urban America, that it is not most likely to be robbed, that people who go there aren't going to be stuck up, that women that work in your business aren't going to be raped, that it is of reasonable safety. Now, no place in America is safe. We're not looking at a father's knows best mentality, that every street is safe and everybody's that the kids can walk 3 miles to school all by themselves every day, and that you can walk on the streets at night, stroll up and down the streets of every street in America without having to worry about getting hit upside the head. That doesn't exist in America anymore. That doesn't exist anywhere in the world anymore. Understand. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about some sort of Pollyannish utopia. We're talking about a reasonable amount of safety. Reasonable. A place where people know that the laws of the area are being followed and enforced. That's all. It's a fairly low bar. And then as companies bring in businesses, hire people who live, work, and worship in those urban areas, what you then get is the economic piece. So you can start working on the poverty thing that everyone keeps referring to as the problem. But you have to make it safe enough to work on that thing next. And now you can work on the economy of your area. Now, please, this also, the second letter in See Our Way Forward to Our Future, is tough because it's held back by culture. It's held back by culture. Currently, in urban America, now I'm going to say it, like I just said in the opening, I'm going to say it. We've got a culture problem because we are, as a culture, not as individuals, so don't get your back all up, don't get all crazy because I don't know you and I ain't talking about you. I know that we would rather pay the $250 to get a pair of Jordans than take $150 of those dollars and put in an IRA or put in or buy a savings bond. And we do this for ourselves, and not just our kids, ourselves. You know what? From an adult standpoint, me being a 56-year-old man, I can see it doesn't make a damn bit of sense to put a pair of $250 Jordans on an 11-year-old set of feet, regardless of the color of those feet. It just doesn't make any sense. You know, the pastor of our head church in Chicago, Pastor Rob Thompson, said this one time. He said, write this down because this is important. Poverty is not the lack of money. Poverty is the lack of misspent money. So when we have this consumer culture, because we have been taught by the left and by media and by pop culture that the worst thing in the world is lack, the worst thing in the world is not having, and the best thing in the world to make you feel good is to have all the same stuff, to have all the cars, to be able to flaunt all your money, to have that, you know, to having the big gold chains. I mean, the most ridiculous thing in the world for me, a couple of years ago, one of the great things about being older is that you have stories. My car was broken. I needed some major engine work on my car a couple of years ago, and we didn't have the money, so it just sat in my yard. It just sat in the front yard, and I got to work by riding the bus. And one of the things that used to blow me away was that we would stop and pick up this guy every morning. He was going to work, cool. I was assuming he was going to work, but he was riding a bus. And brother had big old thick gold chains. I was like, dang. Homeboy's wearing about $1,000 plus of gold chains around his neck, riding the bus every day. So this is what he thought. This is what he chose to do. Now I never talked to him, so I didn't know what his situation was. So I'm making assumptions, but it was just his idea that was important to him. I wear a gold chain. It's a very small herringbone gold chain. But my car was broken. Maybe his car was broken too, and he decided that he would ride the bus. Maybe. But between the jewelry and the chains and the vibrato and the bravado, I thought, you know what? Maybe you don't buy $1,000 worth of jewelry, and you put that money away, and you don't have to ride the bus anymore. But because economically, urban America is saddled, infected with a consumerism mentality, we won't be able to see our way forward to the prosperity that we should have in our community. Now, and you're saying, Willie, how can we have any prosperity? You know, most of our communities are poor. You know what? Everybody in those communities has to buy food. Everybody in those communities have to buy clothes. Everybody in those communities has cell phones. And where do you think they're getting them? Not everybody's stealing food and clothes and cell phones. They're taking whatever resources they're getting, however they're getting them, and deciding to spend them on things that are temporal. That's what's happening. So we are going to have to change our mentality about money. You know, a pastor once said to me, "It's so funny how people view money. You know, what they put a dollar in the dish at church, and it's the biggest thing they've ever done. But that same dollar doesn't do them diddly at the grocery store, right? A dollar one way or the other doesn't do you anything. How small it is at the grocery store, but how big it is at church, right? So we're gonna have to change our views on money. We're going to have to change our views on spending. We're going to have to change our views. Now notice I'm saying that we are going to have to change our. You notice that I'm not saying that government's going to have to do anything for us, that media is going to have to do anything for us, that I'm not asking pop culture to change. I'm not asking anybody to change. I'm saying that we have to make that difference. I have to, and so do you. Now, when and you know, when my pastor talks about things, he says, you know what, 95% of the time I'm talking to me too. And right now, I'm talking to me too. I'm going to have to make these changes as well. I'm going to have to make this paradigm shift. And we have an opportunity now in America to make this paradigm shift. Urban conservatives have now an opportunity to make our voices heard and encourage this paradigm shift in our community. And if we don't, shame on us. If we don't take this opportunity to get the word out so we can make this paradigm shift in our communities around the country, because we're afraid, because for whatever reason, shame on us. But I tell you straight up, won't be me. Won't be me living with regret. Won't be me later on going, golly, we had an opportunity and I missed it. No, it won't be me. And it damn sure shouldn't be you either. When we get back, we're going to talk about education, the third part of See Our Way Forward to Our Future in urban America, because that is important. And now we have a huge opportunity. Now I've talked a little bit about it in previous programs, and we're going to dovetail a little bit back and talk about why I think we have an opening in education to make some of these things happen. And if we can get education going the right direction in our community, that we can start focusing on things in our community that are important. So much, and I don't want to jump the gun, but so much that's in education, frankly, doesn't have anything to do with the needs of our students. And I'm not talking about teaching Black history. I ain't talking about Africa and Africa's contribution to America. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm not talking about how bad Europe was. I'm not talking about any of that. But there are some basic things that you have to focus on when you start talking about education, especially in urban America, that we must demand our schools to be focused on. Again, I am jumping the gun, aren't I? I am. I didn't mean to, but that's exactly what I'm doing. So we're going to talk about some of those things when we get back. Listen, share this program. If you're listening, if you're listening live, if you're listening in archives, please share this program. I want 100 listens plus today. I need 100 people plus to listen today. If I get 100 of you listening today, I can get 1,000 listening tomorrow. 10,000 listening the next day. And that's how we make growth. In a program like this, this is what you do. You know what? Yes, you can go to www.fightbackmedia.com, click the donate button. That'd be great. But what I need you to do now is free. Share this program. Be brave enough to share this program with your friends, your neighbors, and the people who look at you side-eye. Be brave enough to share. Be brave enough to tell them that a new day is coming. My name is William Lawson. We'll be back right after these messages. Innovation, inspiration, and imagination. 3 important characteristics that are important in any business, but especially in real estate, when you're looking for your forever home. And when that home is a new home, there are very, very many things that must go right. The financing must be on point. The furnishings must be on point. The location and neighborhood must be on point. And if you need someone to get that right the first time, you have to go to my friend Gary Knight at New Homes of Tampa Bay. That's New Homes of Tampa Bay. You can reach him on the web at www.newhomestpa.com. If you're looking for innovation through technology, inspiration and imagination through hard work, www.newhomestpa.com. There's no reason to wait for a special occasion to send flowers. No reason to wait until you miss a birthday or an anniversary or Valentine's Day to send flowers. All you have to do is get a hold of my friend Christine at Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. That's www.bloomingdays.com. And tell her that you want to send the very best, that you care enough to send the very best. One of FTD's top florists in all of the United States, always in the top 100 of flower shops in the United States. That's Bloomingdale's Flower Shop, www.bloomingdays.com. Forget calling 1-800-something, www.bloomingdays.com. It's great to have partners, but it's even better when one of your partners is one of the finest urban conservatives in America. That's my friend Kevin Batts. Kevin Batts of Red River Chronicle TV. Red River Chronicle TV is taking the internet by storm. With fabulous production, amazing commentary, and incredible insight, Red River TV is the thing that we'll all be watching in 2017. They are the people, Kevin and his wife Janelle, are the voices that are going to make the difference in urban America in 2017. So get in on the ground floor. Go to www.redriverchronicle.com and subscribe to Red River TV today.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
This is your business diva, Melanie Collette, inviting you to join me for my new show, Money Talk with Melanie, on January 16th at 10 a.m. on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Joining me will be Dr. Brooks Robinson of blackeconomics.org. We will discuss President-elect Donald Trump's New Deal for Black America. I hope you'll join us.
You know, it is not every day where we get an opportunity to be a part of something special. Not every day we get an opportunity to actually be a part of an organization that is going to change America. Like we see all these politicians who say that their policies and their personalities are strong enough to change the direction of the country. And we've seen the country not change directions after trillions of dollars spent. But it's great to be confident enough for me to tell you that, you know what, Fight Back Media, the Fight Back Media Group is ready and poised to put forth the strongest urban conservative voices in America to the fore. K. Carl Smith, C.L. Bryant, Ken McClinton, Shirley Huzar, Alfonso Rachel, Star Parker, Kevin Batts, all ready to hit the ground running in 2017 to get the information and the medicine that will cure the ails of urban America. This is our opportunity. If you want to help us out, go to www.fightbackmedia.com. That's www.fightbackmedia.com, and click the donate button under my picture. We appreciate that. All right, listen, we're back with more of the Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, powered by SHR Media and syndicated worldwide by our friends at High Plains Talk Radio. We appreciate all of you in this effort. If you are interested in being a sponsor of any of the programs on the network, send me an email and I will forward it to the correct person. Send me an email at WLSTECN@gmail.com. That's WLSTECN@gmail.com. And I'll make sure that the right person gets it and make sure that they get to you post haste. The third part of the C acronym, safety, economics, and education, in the way that we see our way forward in the future of urban America, is education, as I alluded to before the break. It is education. Now, I'm a child. I'm a product of forced busing, because I was one of those kids that, yes, I had a neighborhood school to go to, in high school especially. I had a neighborhood school to go to, but because of forced busing and race quotas, I was sent to schools outside of my community. Because the idea was, from the left and Democrats and some of the black politicians that, again, were on, and for lack of a better term, were on the plantation, was that it was somehow better, that my education was going to be better if indeed I was sitting next to a white child. And I know that when we talk to them now, that's not what they'll tell you, that's not what we meant. Because we were talking about things like, buildings that were falling apart and not having the same books and blah, 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 that somehow if I sat next to a white child, that, what my education would be better. Well, that was ridiculous. What needed to happen was that my education needed to be better where I was. And I'm not for the, please don't label me or paint me as a separatist. But there is something to be said for neighborhood schools. And you know how I know that? Because in the suburbs, that's what they have. Where they have some of the best schools in America are neighborhood schools. Some of the best schools in America are not magnet schools. Some of the best schools in America are not schools where, you can be sent to. That's not what some of the best schools are. Neighborhood schools. A lot of people with means decide where their homes are going to be, where they buy homes because of the school in that neighborhood. A school that's within 2 miles normally of where they build their home. That's a pretty good model. And I am a big believer that we should, in urban America, we should practice the same model. Again, part of the cool thing about being old, like I said before, is that you have stories to tell. When I was a youngster, elementary school age, Progress Village Elementary School was the school that I attended. It was a school that everybody, when I started going there, walked to. Everybody. I started going there in 3rd grade, and it was a regular elementary school, K through 6, and everybody walked there. There were no buses. There was no car pickup. You feel me? There was no car line. We've all been in the car line, right? There was no car line. Everybody walked to school. All the students walked to school. And even so, and even so, this model was this. This model was that a number of the teachers who taught at the school actually lived in the same community. They didn't walk to school. They drove to school. I don't think any of them ever walked. But the idea is that there was a community there. Those teachers knew what we needed. They knew exactly the things educationally that they needed to focus on. Now, they didn't need to focus on gun control. They didn't need to focus on drugs. They didn't need to focus on birth control. They didn't need to focus on any Billy's got two mommies. They didn't need to focus on any of that. What they knew they needed to focus on was making sure that we could read and we could write and that we could do mathematics, because that was going to be our ticket to our future. So a lot of these things were, a lot of the educational standards were stringent, unbending, non-negotiable. Period. Non-negotiable. You would know your multiplication tables by heart. Period. There was no like, well, you got most of them. Oh, and don't worry. You're trying, Malik, you're trying really hard. Mrs. Timmons, who was the mother of Ozzie Timmons, the baseball player who was my fourth grade teacher, didn't give a rat's ass if you were trying or not. I don't think that's true, but that's how I felt. You could either do it or you couldn't do it, and she would make you go and work hard and do it until you could. She'd make it so you did it. So you knew what 12 times 11 was, and you knew what 9 times 3 was, and you knew what 9 times 7 was off the top of your head. I remember days where she was drilling this stuff again and again. I remember, and I remember people standing there by their desks, stumped, as she was saying, "What's 9 times 7?" I remember them standing there with tears rolling down their little faces, and she didn't look up from her desk. Can you imagine a teacher doing that now to fourth graders? Because what Mrs. Timmons knew was that if we didn't get a solid foundation in mathematics, if we didn't get a solid foundation in science, what Mrs. Dunham knew, if we didn't get a solid foundation in language arts, we were going to be screwed. We were going to be screwed. There was no STEM program. We didn't need a federal STEM program. We didn't need federal dollars. We needed teachers who gave a damn, who understood us, where we were, and what our real needs were. And it was non-negotiable. It was sort of like if you've seen the movie Remember the Titans, where Denzel Washington's character tells the white coach, "Don't baby these kids. It won't do them any good. You think you're helping them, but you're not helping them." That's what we need. And now we have an opportunity to do that. In the president's 10-point plan and in his New Deal with Urban America, he talks about improving in his first point, talking about improving education, talking about school choice, talking about being supportive of all the school choice options: homeschool, parochial school, church school, magnet schools, public schools. Which I thought was great, because now my deal is to hold him to that promise. And this should ring the bell for a lot of inner city church schools. Say it's time to get schools opened in our church. Because now that sort of kills two birds with one stone. When we were the most successful under Jim Crow, when racism and bigotry was codified in law, again, let's look at the model. The center of these communities were the schools and the churches. The center of our communities were the schools and the churches. What a great time, what a great opportunity now to make that happen again. What a great opportunity to make that happen again. So I think that some of these churches now the door is wide open to start small, especially elementary schools that allow a morning prayer to start your day in the foundation of prayer and concentrate relentlessly on educational basics that can propel our kids in our communities to great heights. Now we have that opportunity. Now, and again, if we don't take that opportunity, that is on us. This is how we see our way forward into our future in urban America. We'll be back right after these messages.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
Information is crucial when you're looking to purchase a new home. With so many choices of communities and options, choosing the right one for you and your family can be a daunting task. That's why you need to go to New Homes of Tampa Bay right now, www.newhomestpa.com, and get the information you need. Learn how people save thousands of dollars when purchasing new homes. Buy like the pros. New Homes Tampa Bay, www.newhomestpa.com.
This is your business diva, Melanie Collette, inviting you to join me for my new show, Money Talk with Melanie, on January 16th at 10 a.m. on the Exceptional Conservative Network. Joining me will be Dr. Brooks Robinson of blackeconomics.org. We will discuss President-elect Donald Trump's New Deal for Black America. I hope you'll join us.
All right. Welcome back to the Willie Lawson Show here on the Exceptional Conservative Network, powered by SHR Media and sent around the world by our great folks at High Plains Talk Radio. If you're listening on High Plains Talk Radio, golly, I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email at WLSTECN@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you, hear what you think. Even if you're not listening on High Plains Talk Radio, if you're listening right here on Spreaker, or you're listening on the fightbackmedia.com website, or wherever you're listening, I'd love to hear from you. Listen, we only have a couple of minutes before we got to get out of here. Yes, and you did hear that President Trump did indeed, as he promised, nominated a Supreme Court justice to replace the deceased Antonin Scalia, and that pick was Justice Gorsuch, and I'm going to fight with that name too. I was listening to David Webb last night, and he said he was going to fight with that name. Listening to David Webb show on Patriot Radio. But this is a guy. So whatever you hear today, this is important that you are here this morning. Whatever you hear today is going to be nonsense for the most part, because this is a guy who was appointed to the federal bench by a voice vote in the Senate by the people who are going to oppose him now unanimously. All this wrangling you're hearing is not about anything except people who are mad at Trump. We got to get out of here. Thanks so much. Till you see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, take care of yourself.